Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. This is why security is so challenging. Imagine to have someone talking about governance and management of security after Andres talking about quantum technology. Everyone hears about, in the past, Aussie model. We are just going from level number 1 to level number 8. I will talk mainly about why this is so important to people and share with you a little bit what is my day by day working. That is, talk with board of directors, executives about this challenging topic of security. Let me show you a video.
Das hier ist mein Sektor. Das hier ist das wichtigste Gerät des Küstenwächters. Das Gerät und das Gerät. Überlebensradar.
Mayday, Mayday. Hello, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Can you... Over. We are sinking. We are sinking.
Hello? This is the German Coast Guard.
We are sinking. We're sinking.
What are you thinking about?
This was more or less me listening to Andres, but this is actually my day. This is what I do today. I don't know if you listen to this guy. This guy presented a program called Cosmos. Anyone hear about Cosmos? The guy said that the good thing about science is that, okay, it's true, whatever you believe it or not. And I spent so many years talking about security, risk, and things that people actually don't care about. And they don't care about because it's about the future. It's about things that can happen in the future. So what I'm going to share with you is how I try to put these difficult subjects, let's say like these, to a board of level directors of people that actually don't care too much about it. Let me start to show you a little bit what is nowadays my challenge. That is about digital transformation. Nowadays in Portugal and all over the world, the buzzword digital transformation, it just came up. I work for consulting firms for many, many years, and I have this feeling that in the past, people get together in a dinner and they decide what will be the next buzzword, okay? They have dinner and say, okay, let's put cloud. And then it started to sell consulting. After 5 years, the topic will turn to maturity, and then they go to dinner again and choose another buzzword. And in 2016, the buzzword was definitely digital transformation. The difference was the acceleration. 1 year ago, I was talking in a business school in Lisbon to show them that it would be very interesting if we launch a digital transformation program for executives. And the guys say, okay, we already have marketing, digital marketing. Why should we do digital transformation? And this is just exploded. And nowadays, we already have that training, and it's coming students and students from all over the country to study about digital transformation. And one of the factors is about these unicorns. The startups, the new world startups, are messing with the market and are just coming and showing why technology is so important to create value. But what I do in my day by day is to help companies like the company of this Mr. Steve Sassoon. Anyone knows Steve Sassoon? Okay? This was the guy that actually invented the digital camera. Okay? The guy had a challenge, a mission from the boss, and say, okay, invent something that will be disruptive. And the guy invented a digital camera like this. It has like something like 0.02 megapixels. Okay? This guy actually worked at a company that was very famous in the past, that was Kodak. Do you believe what, or do you know actually what led Kodak to close some years ago? Digital cameras. So what I do in my day by day is not to help startups, but to help companies that actually have to change and have to look around and do the digital transformation. So what is actually digital transformation? One of the good things is these buzzwords come so fast that they are actually, the definitions are work in progress. But what is most important is actually digital transformation is there and is different from the past because it exists because the third platform of technologies just come. The third platform is composed about mobility, cloud, big data, and social business. This is what we are talking nowadays of digital transformation. Today I have clients that just started to do workflows and use internet and things like that, and they say, oh, I'm in the digital transformation mode. No, you are in the digital hygiene, okay? This is like brushing the teeth. What is digital transformation if it's what you are doing now is based on these 4 pillars. That's why the technology is there, is so important, but what is more important is what you do with technology. So in the second layer, you have what we call innovation accelerators. One of the most famous is IoT. That is basically a mix of these pillars of third platform. But what is really, really challenge, and what I do with these executives is how to understand how to put these technologies and these accelerators in their company, in the industry they work with. So what I try to explain to the directors, and this is the first point I want to leave with you, is this is not actually about technology. This is about what you do with technology. So it's a little bit what happening in security. Actually, companies and the boards, I have to be true with you, they don't care about security. They care about the impacts of security in their business. So what I try to do is, okay, I try to explain security not by explaining security, but explaining a little bit around. This is a graphic. I work also as a senior advisor at IDC. This is a graphic that IDC launches every year. It calls predictions, and these are the 10 predictions related with digital transformation. Actually, just a quick overview. It's in the horizontal, you have the month the topic will come to the board or to the agendas. And in the vertical, and this is the most important part, it is if it's a topic in the bottom that is actually in a department, or if it's a company-wide point. And if you look to the 10 topics about digital transformation in 2016, you found 2 very important for security: hyperconnectivity and information-based companies. So if you want to explain to a guy that actually is fully of buzzwords and things happening and problems, it's not talking about, oh, excuse me, I want to talk about quantum computers. You have to know that problem. But if you want to transmit, if you want to communicate well, you have to put in things that the guy actually understands. And if you show something like this, you will show the topics, of course, and say why information is so important. And so then you can show why you need to secure it. And in this topic, you can see these topics are, every time the IDC is showing a prediction scheme like this, the topics are coming up and up and up. And this means that everyone in the organization needs to understand these topics. Okay? So let me talk about these 2 sides of the bridge. One, the risks related with digital transformation, and the other, how can we create value in the digital transformation. Let me show you another video. this video shows what is for me more difficult nowadays, is in the present, talking about things that are already happened in the past, but people, when they are listening, they think this will happen in the future. So this is so challenging because what is more important nowadays is not to understanding only what's happening inside the companies or inside my country or the other country, is to understanding the world. This is changing very, very fast. So what I'm showing you here is most of the materials that I use in awareness sessions, one-on-one with CEOs and board of directors. This is why this is so important to everyone in the company. So my first word when I try to explain this subject of security to them is talking to them about the perimeterization. Every world, since every time the humanity work in groups, physical groups, so the blocks, the limits, the frontiers are something that are in our minds. So when you told these people and you told everyone that nowadays in the digital world the perimeters are no longer there, this is not having the floor. They don't understand the limits that are already closed. In Portugal, there's something like this. They still thinking about the country, and the country will finish before Spain, so let's do digital business here around Portugal. And this is so crazy, but this is explained because this is in the DNA of everyone. The second word is identity. Everyone was used to understand the neighbors and be more secure or less secure if they know better or less better the neighbors they have. The neighbors in the building, the colleagues in the work, the neighbors in the neighborhood. So this was very physical. Nowadays, the world is more or less the same because we still have infrastructures, we have networks, we have controllers, devices, we can create personas. However, this line of networks that actually digitalized the world and put digital and physical together come up with the possibility of having personas, digital personas that are mixed with physical personas, and the understanding of the identity is probably the biggest challenge of security. How can I be sure about who's in the other side? Okay, I can block the channel, but how can I understand that I'm not talking with a bot, or with a dog, or with a refrigerator? How can I identify the one that is in the other side? Let me talk to you a little bit, and talking about neighbors and the new neighbors we have, about a city in Romania called Ramiș-Valcea. And this is when I talk with people in Portugal about Ramiș-Valcea, it's normal, no one knows about Ramiș-Valcea. And no one knows about Marcel, Robert, Victor, or Raskan. And no one knows that these guys in the past liked very much Ladas, Dacias, okay? And recently they started to like a little bit more about Lamborghinis and Ferraris. And these guys are not neighbors of our companies, but the guys that live in Akerveld, Guccifer, Iceman, Servic, and Teen Code, they are actually in the same house that we are. And they are our new neighbors. Let me show you a video about these new neighbors.
It's complicated to say how it all started.
The Romanian people are quite clever. The internet was one of my best friends.
I wanted to hack NASA. I liked being powerful.
There are secrets of the internet. 7 years in prison. For what?
The predators always follows the prey.
But I am not sorry for what I have done. Never.
I know I can do a lot of things if somebody gets me angry.
I can assure you that this is when the people started to get a little bit concerned. Who are these guys? What are they doing? These guys actually are impacting the elections, next year election in the United States. Because one of these guys was the guy that stole emails from Hillary and the Rockefellers. And this video, you can consult it in the internet, is very good example how the neighborhood change and how we need actually to change our dimension of perimeter. Because these guys are next to us, okay? So, in the other side, there's a sense, okay, we have the bad guys, but we also have the good guys. We have people that are very sophisticated, very interested in these subject matters of security, but actually people are people. And let me show you about people in the United States that actually are probably the same people that we have in our companies, and we have to pay very attention to them.
We've been hearing a lot about cybersecurity lately, largely because of what happened to Sony. Companies and individuals are more concerned about the safety and privacy of their information than ever. President Obama has unveiled a number of new proposals this week to crack down on hackers, and he plans to address this in the State of the Union speech on Tuesday. And it's great that the government is working on this, but the truth of the matter is we need to do a better job of protecting ourselves. The most popular password in the United States is password 123. And as long as that's the case, we're vulnerable. So today we sent a camera out on the Hollywood Boulevard to help people by asking them to tell us their password. And this is how that went.
We're talking about cybersecurity today and how safe people's passwords are. What is one of your online passwords currently?
It is my dog's name and the year I graduated from high school.
Oh, what kind of dog do you have?
I have a Chihuahua Papillon.
And what's its name?
Jameson.
Jameson. And where'd you go to school?
I went to school back in Greensburg, Pennsylvania.
What school?
Hempfield Area Senior High School.
Oh, when did you graduate?
In 2009.
Oh, great.
It's like my cat's name and then just like a random number.
Okay. Have you had this cat for a while?
Yeah, she's my childhood pet.
Aw. And what's her name?
Her name is Jolie.
Jolie. So like a password of yours would be Jolie and then a number.
Yeah.
Like number 1?
Like my birthday.
Oh, when is your birthday?
June 12th.
Oh, nice. And what year were you born?
95.
Oh, great. So Jolie, 6, 12, 95.
Yes.
Got it.
So you mean to give my password right now? No, I cannot do that.
But we all want to know what it is so we can tell you if it's strong or not.
Oh my goodness. Let me think. Okay, one is Tel-Aviv. Yeah. 4, 6, 8, and then Israel. It's only 3, but it's for me it's strong enough.
Ireland, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gemma, 1, 2, 3. Spelled G-E-M-M-A.
Well, most of them are Italian.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
so
what? Like what's a good Italian password?
My grandma's name.
What's your grandma's name?
Maria.
Maria. So Maria is your password?
Oh yeah, now you know my password. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, the important thing is they learned a...
So, Andres, this is what's happening in layer 8 of Aussie model. This is what the people that we have in our companies are doing. And everyone laughed when I showed this movie, but this is actually happening in our places and our houses and our jobs. This is why people are so vulnerable. So I live in a country that when I started to do presentations in using this slide, we were the 11th more peaceful country in the world. Nowadays, we are the 5th more peaceful country in the world. So no one cares about security. No one cares about defense because nothing actually happens. But recently, things started to happen. And the newspapers started to have things that are happening in businesses or in the government or things like that. And guess who's the guy that is always blamed by everything that is happening? The IT guy. I saw this same picture in a supermarket in my hometown, and it's written, of course, in Portuguese. I guess you don't read Portuguese, but what is written here is, at this moment, we can't sell beer due to an IT bug. We apologize. So this is what is happening nowadays. People are not understanding what is actually happening, and I truly believe that the people was not trying to blame just another they actually don't understand what is happening. So they blame the unknown. They don't understand. So, okay, something happened in the IT. The problem is that IT is all over the companies. Everything is technology. So nowadays things are starting to go not that well, and people are starting to blame the IT guy. Okay? These are the predictions for the security topics that are presented by IDC for the next year. And what you can see here again is how the topics of security are company-wide. Everything in security nowadays is put on the top. The only subjects that come down here are, of course, implementing biometric things, but every other topics are in the top priorities that everyone in the company needs to know about. Okay, and I will leave you the presentation to you afterwards, but this is what is happening. Security is blaming the IT guy, but actually the topics are in the top priorities of the organization. Let's not talk only about bad things. Let's talk about value creation. Let's talk about good things. One of the things that nowadays, when I'm talking about digital transformation, and people are so passionate about digital transformation, they get engaged with the technology during the last year. So nowadays, when you talk about digital transformation, the people still thinking about technology, new technology. I want to have a cloud strategy. I want to use big data. And normally, when I show them this graphic, what I show them is digital transformation is not about technology. Digital transformation is about transforming these 5 pillars. Transforming leadership, the omni experience with the client, information, and this is a particular topic when we're talking about security, operating model, and work source. And when we start to put things in this language, that digital transformation, you don't have to understand what is behind. You have to actually understand the impact that this is happening, that is having at home and at office. Let's make a quick overview on these 5 subjects. The first one is about leadership. This is a topic for the leaders. The leaders need to understand what is the context of the company and not only look inside the company. And nowadays, I still hear many people that are putting in this, oh, I don't want to be in Facebook, this is not important, this will be a trend that will pass. Today, not being in Facebook is being in a Facebook. Not being in a Facebook is a statement. We have a Portuguese company, electric company, that started a page in Facebook. And because electric is not that trendy or that sexy, everyone that was coming to the page of Facebook was to complain. And there was so many complaints that they closed the social networks in Facebook. Imagine what happened. Someone created a page anti this company. And this page nowadays have more followers than the official company Facebook page. So nowadays, explaining to the leadership that this is not what they want to do, this is to adapt to the context, is a big challenge. The second one is about transforming the omni experience. Nowadays, we are not anymore selling only products, shoot and forget products to our clients. We actually want to care about the client. We want to live around the client. Things like Siri and things like Alexa, they actually changing the way we lead with technology. Coming to our kitchen in the morning and say, good morning, Alexa. And Alexa say, good morning, Bruno. What will be the weather? What are my emails? This is challenging. Opening the refrigerator and say, I don't have eggs. And somehow Alexa was listening and say, okay, do you want me to ask for eggs in the grocery? And I say, yes. And after a while, the eggs come in my door. This is challenging, but this is already happening. So understanding that the contact with the client is no longer omni-channel experience, is all around the client. Companies need to fall over that in the clients. The clients not only in the selling moment, they are in contact with companies. They have to be in contact all over the day, all over the year. The third one, and this is more important to us, is about information. This is more challenging because companies made a lot of work in the past, and we listen about technology legacy. And people very concerned with technology legacy. We can't do that because technology legacy. And no one talks about information legacy. No one talks about what is inside the technology. Then this is actually the raw material of digital transformation, information, and not technology. And people don't change their mindset from a technology-based orientation to information-based orientation. So nowadays, we deal in our homes. I love this sentence. When you don't pay for the product, it's because you are the product. Because I'm generating data. And this is already also very important to organizations to understand that they have to buy data. And they have to manage data. And they have to sell data. Because the information is the most important raw material of digital transformation. The other transformation, the operating model. Some years ago, we moved from a more functional organization to a more process-oriented organization. But most of the times, the processes are inside the company. Nowadays, we need to understand that partnerships are critical for digital transformation. Imagine, ask for something in Amazon, and Amazon delivered the package inside your car. This is only possible because companies like Amazon, DHL, and Audi work together to make the same process that actually come from when Audi started to develop new cars, changed the authentication method to opening the car with digital, with a pass, a key pass. So they basically they send the pack to DHL, the guy from DHL arrived to my car, I send the guy my password to open the car, the guy digits the password in the car and then let the package in my car. And this is so amazing because companies are collaborating. Normally I get so stressed when I ask for digital transformation strategies and people say, oh, we are doing some apps, applications, web applications, apps in the mobile phone, something like that. And I ask, what about APIs? Because this is what is more challenging. We need to live in an API economy. The peoples that will sell and buy information, that will have to prepare the information so others can use that information to create value, will be the companies that will not rock the world or conquer the world, but actually will be more adapted to the new world. So having companies understanding that they have to buy information as any other raw material they buy in the past is very challenging, but is needed to understand digital transformation. And if we are talking about this changing of operating model, we need to understand that nowadays we are no longer living in a thing in the world that put technology in products or mix some technology in one product. We are moving forward. We are moving to a system of products, like in a yard when I put my water with my plants mixed with my clocks. We need to challenge the ecosystem to work together. And in the final, a system of systems is when my system, my company, connects with other systems of other companies and actually create a more wider perspective of systems that are no longer focused in companies, but actually in the value chain of the customer. This is very, very challenging. And last but not least, the part of the people. People are changing. Never in the past, never in humanity. People had to manage more than one generation working together. We had younger people, not that younger people, but everyone were from the same generation. Nowadays, we need to do security, we need to do digital transformation, when we have pre-baby boomers, baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, and now we are coming the new generations, and we will have 5 generations working together. And ignoring this fact, that we need to transform also the skills, the competencies, the way we communicate, is not having a digital transformation in our place. I just searched in the internet this sentence that actually says, Matilde, that is my daughter, what time we will come home? Because I guess that in some years I will have to communicate the emojicon with my daughter. And the companies also have to understand that the skills from the past are no longer the actual skills needed for the future. So, bottom line, how can we put this or resume this? Of course, I'm also the president of ISACA in Lisbon, and everything I do, I try to start or finish with COVID-5. So, normally when I try to put this in the very last words I can, I say that security is important because it can support the value creation. And people say, oh, okay, value creation, what is that? If security impacts the benefits of the stakeholders, if security impacts the way I manage my risks in my organization, if security impacts the resource optimization that I do and to get more efficient, then I'm connecting security not with security, but actually with what cares more about governance bodies, that is governance for a value creation. So bottom line, what I will share my last words to you are what you need to put in agenda of your board of directors so they can ask you. More of what I do is not to explain to the board of directors what is security, is to explain them that they have to put questions to the organization. They need to show they care about. They need to show that they are the first ones that evaluate the context, direct the security, and are accountable last minute for the security. Thank you very much for your attention.